Hello friends, this is another installment in my series called A YouTube Beginner's Journal. Today I'm going to talk about lighting, specifically a need for a soft light that I had. I purchased this work light from Sam's Club for about $38, and my video format, a lot of it will be shooting on top of a workbench. So I thought this would be useful for generally flooding the area with light. One problem it has for that purpose that I found out is you end up seeing the individual LEDs if you accidentally look at the light, and it burns, the image into your eye. So we have a solution to that, which I will show you in just a moment. Here I've got the light set up like I plan to use it. I've got it wedged into this overhead shelf underneath some other stuff that I keep handy. As you might be able to see, the light has these individual LED elements. I'm going to turn that on real briefly just to show you what it's like. We'll see how it comes through on the video. There it is. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is to put on this highly expensive soft light converter. And let's try it with that. Now that may not be much to look at in itself, but if we look down at the workbench, we have a fairly nice even lighting. Here's something I happen to have handy as a prop that I'll be featuring in a future video maybe. But you can see a nice broad light here. And from what I've heard on YouTube, basically the more light the better in most situations. There might be some where you want to have less light and then be able to use a wide aperture. But for my purpose in a workbench setting, I'm really going to want to use a lot of light most of the time, but you don't want glare and that type of thing. So with my solution here, I've come up with something that's pretty economical, and we'll talk about that more in detail next. This is kind of similar to a lot of other LED work lights. It costs about they say online $38.98. I've seen you can get smaller ones that are in the $20 range, but lights like this cost approximately $40 or so. This one has a nice swivel and so on that's useful. Has a switch on the back that's kind of inconvenient with my bag setup, but I can live with that. And the basic idea here was to get into a YouTube setup for kind of limited money, and that's either some combination of using stuff I already have, buying a few things that don't cost very much. But what I'm not doing, because I'm new at this and who knows what the future of this channel might be, I'm not investing in a lot of equipment. So the idea here is to get started on YouTube with very little money. Not that I really need to save every dime, but it's more a matter of, why do I want to sink a lot of money into a channel that may not be successful, that I may not retain the interest in? To give you perspective, I put out 2 videos so far, which have gotten a total of about 25 views over the last week and a half. So that's a little discouraging, although I'm hoping for something better. You can try this at home. There's a couple of things to think about. You want to use an LED light, shop light, because they don't put out very much heat. And, we have the bag aspect of it, which of course is free. There's the potential for this to melt if it has too much heat involved. But my experience has been that using LEDs on this, it gets a little warm, but it's not excessive. And another thing you don't want to do is use the older shop lights that are the halogen type. They create a great deal of heat, and you certainly do not want to put a plastic bag over something like that. So just be careful. Even with this setup, I wouldn't leave it unattended. But I shot my last video with this and didn't have any problems as far as heat or safety goes. My last video accidentally featured my cat Polly, who walked into the shot, and that kind of added a little fun to the video. This is her normal spot right next to my workbench where she hangs out. I got a good response from the friends and relatives that looked at the video that they enjoyed seeing Polly from it. She seems to be kind of mellowing out now after having been quite concerned about getting her food and water. Got any comments, Polly? Say goodbye to the camera. Look up here. Bye-bye.